wait, this doesn't fit. Let's change that a little bit. Hello, this is FM. Now this is very different from the usual things I posted on my channel, but I want to try out something new. I want to try out commentary for things that I like to enjoy, like talking about video games or even Formula 1, which is going to be today's topic. Formula 1, the quote-unquote pinnacle of motorsports, from the cars to the drivers.
Oh my god. I've never looked so good.
And the racing experience.
It's immediately chops across. Lewis Hamilton's going to get the lead. Lewis Hamilton takes it away, but he loves it.
But some people would say this is just rich people going around in circles for 90 minutes. And I say that is completely correct. Something I enjoy other than the funny memes that comes out of F1. It's the so-called silly season, where team makes announcements of who will be driving them for next week. Will there be driver swaps in the middle of the season? Who would be leaving? Who would be joining? The whole shebang. Technically, silly season hasn't started yet, but we have gotten at least 5 or 6 new announcements from F1, and we're just only at 2 races. This is gonna be the 3rd race this week. One announcement caught everyone's attention: Cadillac becoming the 11th team on the grid. Now, F1 having an 11th team isn't new. They have had multiple teams back in the days, but this one caught everyone by surprise, because Andretti was planning on joining the F1 grid with Cadillac, but the F1 management decided to
No.
So we did not expect any announcements of a team joining probably after the 2026 season. After F1 announced that Cadillac is joining the grid in 2026, everyone and their mother is making speculation videos on who would be driving for them. Some are somewhat reasonable and realistic, some are okay, others are a blunt rotation of immense proportion. Since I'm gonna strike the iron while it's hot, I'm gonna make my own speculation video on who would be the 2 drivers for Cadillac. Now, I have some possible candidates, but we need to understand Cadillac's goal in F1. Since Andretti and Cadillac were planning on joining together to make one American F1 team, I believe that Cadillac will follow the same principles that they had planned with Andretti, which is building up a full American lineup or a full American team. I'm sorry, Haas, I know you're American, but you don't count. I'm sorry. No hate on Komatsu and everyone on the Haas team. You guys are cooking. You guys are cooking for something. Now, for this, they need an American driver or 2. I have some possible candidates that could fit the bill. Like I said, this is just speculation, and just take everything with a grain of salt. Probably enough to fill an entire League of Legends lobby. An interesting option for Cadillac would be to promote the American F2 driver Jack Crawford. He has some pretty decent credentials under his belt, and he was 5th place on the 2024 standings in F2. But will Cadillac take the risk of promoting Jack Crawford from F2 to F1? Because we've seen that with Williams and Logan Sargent, and it didn't go so well for him, let's just say about that. Which brings up Logan Sargent. He was a former Williams driver, and I believe he's now retired. I wish he would come back, because this might be a chance to somewhat redeem himself. I hope he's doing well. Now comes the obvious driver that everyone has in their minds: Colton Herta, an IndyCar driver who was speculated to drive for AlphaTauri back in 2023, but with the super license points, he didn't have enough points to qualify for an F1 seat, which is fucking stupid if I'm being honest, because apparently IndyCar has different super point system than in F2, and it's all this mishmash of IndyCar points gives you less than in F2. The points is based on how high you got in the championship, and he was a handful of points short to qualify. It's just a mess. I do hope that Colton accumulates enough super license points to be in F1, because it will be interesting to see him there on the grid. Now, these are only American drivers I've listed. What happens if they cannot hire another American driver? So they decide to go for a different driver in the market. And there are like a handful of drivers I have in mind. First one would be Franco Colapinto, the Williams driver that replaced Logan during the mid of 2024, and he scored his first points in the 2nd race, which is pretty impressive. He was thrown around in the F1 paddock saying that, oh, he might be Pierre Gasly's teammate for 2025, but then Jack Doohan was announced to be the driver for them. Now they're also speculating that he will replace Jack Doohan if Jack Doohan doesn't do well. So that's pretty messed up, Alpine, especially when you have Mr. Crashgate here. Since he has gained a little bit of experience in F1, he could be a potential candidate for Cadillac to pick if they want to go for a two rookie lineup, which hasn't hurt any team whatsoever, right? Now we go from the rookies to more the experienced levels. Let's start with Valtteri Bottas, an experienced F1 driver with multiple GP wins on his belt. He could be a decent driver in the midfield, because I believe Cadillac is going to be a midfield team, if not even lower. I mean, Valtteri is also known to have driven shitboxes with Sauber, but since he has signed a contract with Mercedes to be their reserve driver, it is going to be hard to believe that he might hop on to Cadillac. Another possible candidate would be Perez, since Red Bull decided to replace him with Lawson, and now Lawson was Tsunoda. He could be a very, very good candidate for Cadillac, since this man is an OG. Man raced in 2011 and he has driven multiple shit boxes until he landed on a Red Bull seat. So he has experience in the midfield and he could bring a lot of experience to the Cadillac team. Another IndyCar driver that people have in mind is Pato O'Ward. Similar to Herta, he was interested on joining the F1 grid, but since Super Points license bullshit also applies to him, he did not get a seat. He is still interested to join the F1 grid, but he must pick if he wants to stay in the car or jump ship to F1. Now I also have 3 other drivers, but these are mostly unlikely, but I'd like to have them as honorable mentions. We have Daniel Ricciardo, which I doubt he will be coming back because I believe he's enjoying retirement. We miss you, Danny. Please come back. I've written down 2 other drivers in this list, Sebastian Vettel and Mick Schumacher. Now, I doubt these 2 would be candidates for Cadillac because Seb is completely retired. He's more of like an activist at this point. And Mick is now concentrated in Le Mans under Alpine's banner, and he's doing pretty decently. So I hope to see these 2 in the grid in the future, but maybe under a German car brand, like how Sauber and Audi. An Audi pick would be alright, but I believe Sauber is pretty locked in on hiring both Bortoleto and Hülkenberg as the driver lineup for 2026. Now these are all realistic drivers that could be possible candidates for Cadillac, but I have 2 on the list that is not realistic but could be interesting. The first would be Joseph Newgarden, an IndyCar driver that I believe is a pretty decent good driver. I've started watching IndyCar and I'd say he's a fast motherfucker. He even won the Indy 500. I'm sorry, Alonso, but it has to be said. He would be a cool driver to add into the F1 grid, but I doubt he would be interested on a seat because he has criticized the sport that F1 favors the manufacturers instead of the drivers, and that F1 looks down on American drivers. So I don't think he would be interested in a seat. Another IndyCar driver that I have in mind would be Scott McLaughlin. He popped into my For You page randomly and I looked into his content and then look at his driving and okay, he's a pretty funny guy. He's pretty decent. He's a pretty decent driver, funny and entertaining. And this might sound very sacrilegious, but he does remind me of Daniel Ricciardo. He just has that vibe for some reason. He just has that similar vibe that Ricciardo emanates.
What is your car doing so much better, you feel like, than your teammates that's allowed you to be so fast?
Are we live?
Yeah.
We're live? Yeah. Oh, Expel Chevy, yeah, nice.
But I doubt he would be interested in an F1 seat, but who knows, maybe he would be interested to join in F1 in the near future. Now, who would I speculate for Cadillac's driver roster? If I'm being honest, personally, I would like to see them promote Jack Crawford with an experienced driver like Sergio Perez, because I believe he has the potential to become a very decent driver, and Perez could be a very decent mentor to Jack, and he can give his experience to Cadillac team to how to improve the car and all that jazz. It would be cool to see Pato O'Ward and Sergio in an F1 team, like the full Mexican lineup. That would be an interesting team to see. Now there are also different drivers, not only from F1 and from IndyCar or F2. There's also like Indy Next and all those other categories, but these are the ones I have on the list. I've seen people also making cursed lineups, like seeing Mazepin with Nicholas Latifi, the GOAT himself. That is a very cursed lineup, but there is a lot more cursed, and I haven't seen all of it yet. Now this is just going to be a test. I have like a story time ready, but I need to edit a lot of videos for the next couple of months. The Necopara video is still in the editing phase, the part 2 of that is, and then the Arma 3 operation is still in the editing phase. And then I have to prepare for the next operation this month and next month. So yeah, my schedule is kind of messed up, but I'll see how far I can get. I hope you guys enjoyed this small form commentary, so there's gonna be more in the future. So yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. If you have like any other roster ideas for Cadillac, please share it in the comments. Also like the video if you enjoyed it. If you want to see more content from the channel, please subscribe. That's pretty much from my end, so I'll see you guys next time.